All right, welcome to another recruiting session with the Busch School Office of Career Development. My name is Brett LaPrade. Really glad that you guys could join us. I'm really pleased to have a Catholic University alumnus with us today, Benjamin Hergenroder, who now works for NewDay USA. Ben was a music major, and we'll tell you a lot about how his own story, how he got into the mortgage industry, and specifically with NewDay USA. But NewDay has been really great about hiring Catholic University students over the last few years and is doing really great work by providing mortgages to veterans, working with that population that has been traditionally underserved. And so the positions are varied, and I think they check a lot of boxes for what students in the business school are interested in. So with that, Ben, I'm going to turn it over to you, and thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Hi, everyone. My name is Ben. Like you said, I went to Catholic University, graduated in the spring of 2019 from the music school. Kind of had an untraditional route of getting into the mortgage industry, but I'll go into all that in detail. Working at NewDay USA right now. We're a mortgage lender located in Fulton, Maryland. It's about halfway between Baltimore and Washington, D.C. It's just about 4 or 5 minutes off of I-95. I am currently working as a loan processor, and I'm in the accelerated underwriting program as well. I initially started as an account executive, but a bit later on, I'll tell you about my journey, switch positions and everything. But just to get started, I wanted to talk about mortgages in general. Wanted to start with this. I'm sure a lot of you that are tuned in probably know about this already, but it's kind of a funny story. One of our VPs of sales right now, when he was hired at NewDay, actually did not know how to spell the word mortgage. Just to kind of go over, what is a mortgage? A mortgage is basically a loan that's taken out to pay for real estate, real property, what have you. It is a promissory note that is signed by the borrower to pay back the money using the property itself as collateral. That's basically a mortgage in a nutshell. As far as different mortgage programs, your conventional mortgage is going to be kind of your typical 30-year fixed rate. You pay 20% down payment, finance 80% of the value. That's your typical conventional mortgage. We do have government programs like the FHA mortgage that is great for low-income borrowers or first-time home buyers who can't afford a 20% down payment. FHA allows you to go down to as low as 3.5%. That does come with some extra fees involved, private mortgage insurance. You'll have fees associated with the government program, but it's great for people who are either less fortunate as far as their income, not being able to put down that kind of down payment. And you've got the VA mortgage. That is a mortgage guaranteed by the Department of Veterans Affairs. People eligible for that are obviously veterans, active duty service members, whether that's reserves or National Guard, as well as surviving spouses of deceased veterans. And then as far as different types of mortgages, obviously the purchase mortgage, that's the one that you take out when you're first buying your property. And then you've got different types of refinance mortgage. Obviously the cash out, that's very popular. It basically lets you take cash out of the equity in your property. Now kind of explaining equity, let's say your property is appraised and valued at $100,000. If you take out a mortgage for $80,000 and put down $20,000, you have 20% equity in your property. That's basically the difference between the debt that you owe and the value of your property. Let's say that mortgage of $80,000, you pay down, eventually gets to $60,000. So now you have 40% equity. If you want to pay off that loan with another $80,000 mortgage, that's basically raising your debt by $20,000. But because you have 40% equity, that $20,000 difference there, you get that in cash. So a lot of people do that to either pay for repairs to their house, medical expenses, different circumstances come up whether people need cash right up front. Then you got the rate and term refinance. People use that to basically lower their interest rate. You don't really get cash out with that kind of mortgage, but it's great in the long term as far as saving money on interest paid over time. You can also use that to consolidate debt, pay off other accounts. And like I said, you can get a little bit of cash out, but that's not really what that's used for. And then you've got the EARL Streamline, which is specific to VA mortgages. EARL stands for Interest Rate Reduction Refinance Loan. That's a program that veterans are able to use to refinance their existing VA mortgage into a new VA mortgage without a lot of the stuff that comes with a regular refinance. You don't need to do an appraisal. You don't need income verification. You don't need a lot of extra like testing and fees that come with a regular refinance. It really all it does is just lowers your interest rate and your monthly payment. It's something that a lot of veterans are doing right now with the low interest rates. It's a great opportunity. Other mortgage products, you got your second mortgage. Some people will take out a second mortgage to pay their down payment as well as their regular mortgage. So they'll have two mortgages on the same property. You've also got your HELOC, which stands for Home Equity Line of Credit. Basically lets you use equity in your property as revolving credit, as like a credit card. There's obviously a lot more types of mortgages. Those are the most common ones you'll see though. This is kind of the mortgage origination timeline. Obviously, you start with the application. The salesperson will give their sales pitch. They'll take the application, and then the borrower will sign and send all the documents needed to us. The originator will send that to the processing team. Processing does all kinds of credit analysis. They'll do a document verification, get everything together to basically complete the application. And then they'll send the file to the underwriter. The underwriter is the one who makes the decision to approve or deny the file. They will review everything that's been gathered by the originator and the processor, and they will either approve or deny. If they approve, they might have extra stipulations, extra verifications that are needed before it can be cleared to close. Then the processor will be in charge of getting those and then submit it for a final review. And then it'll be cleared to close. The underwriter will send it to the closing team. Closing will be in charge of putting together all the closing documents, facilitating the settlement. And then after closing, post-closing team is in charge of funding, disbursement, making sure everything gets recorded correctly, etc. So that's basically your general overview of the mortgage process. Now, just to talk a little bit about NewDay USA, like Brett said, we work very closely with veterans. The VA mortgage is our bread and butter. We are expanding into conventional FHA programs, but VA loans are what we're known for. We're known for working with veterans. The chairman of our company is a veteran of the Navy, Admiral Tom Lynch, who's a Navy admiral. So he's able to reach out to a lot of veterans and help facilitate that kind of relationship. We are, our company is really quickly growing. Like I mentioned before, interest rates right now are at record lows. Generally, they've been within like the high 3s or 4%. But right now we're seeing interest rates as low as like 2.5, 2.25. I don't think I've seen a 2% yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if we get there soon. So that is obviously causing a big boom in the industry and obviously a lot more demand for hiring. Something great about NewDay is that we haven't laid off a single employee through COVID. We've actually expanded our employee base, which I think is really great. As far as starting out at NewDay, the training period is very thorough. It's about a month long. You'll get paid for your training. All licensing costs are covered. And then you will receive one-on-one mentoring as well. It's a very young, fun atmosphere. I want to say the average employee age is about 26 or 27. We hire a lot of people right out of college, a lot of young professionals. We actually prefer to hire people with no experience in the mortgage industry so that we can train from the ground up. We've had experiences in the past where hiring people from other mortgage lenders, we've had to unteach a lot of bad habits. So we actually prefer to hire new young professionals. With that, there's a lot of opportunity for career advancement. We hire from within. It's really not uncommon to see people promoted to captain or AVP positions and different types of leadership positions within a year or even a few months of being hired initially. Let's see here. So this is our first open position. We have 2 open positions that we're hiring for right now. Not just 2 people, hiring multiple people for these positions. But this first one, account executive, this is very much a go-getter position. You'll be working one-on-one with the veterans. You will be the one basically taking the application, explaining the product to them, and keeping in contact with them throughout the whole process. It's a very customer-focused position. Like I mentioned there on the slide, effectively prepare and present customized mortgage solutions to potential customers. You will be in charge of keeping that customer relation with the borrower. You'll be following up on inbound direct marketing leads. There is no cold calling. Any outbound calls that you're making are to people who have already expressed an interest in NewDay. So they already know what we're about. They already know kind of what we do. I think it's really great. There's no cold calling involved. You won't have that kind of stress of going in completely cold feet. Now, it's a very engaging position. You do need to be a people person. If you are a people person, if you're extroverted, if you enjoy making those kinds of connections, I definitely think you'll be very fulfilled by this position. It does also become very lucrative, especially if you're good at talking to people. This is a very lucrative position for you. So that's basically account executive position, kind of a sales origination position. The second one is the accelerated underwriting program. This is kind of a two-step position because you'll actually start as a loan processor, not as an underwriter. You'll be working as the processor on files. Processor is kind of the quarterback of the loan, is how I describe it. They're the ones making sure everything is in order. They're the ones verifying all the documents, getting in touch with different people working on the file, saying, I need this from you, I need this from you, putting it all together, making sure everything is organized. So you'll be working as the processor, and then in the evenings and weekends, you'll be taking classes, training to achieve your CRU, your Certified Residential Underwriter designation, in as little as 18 months. The underwriter position is one of the most prestigious positions in the mortgage industry. So once you get that, you're pretty much set. It's a very book smart, team-oriented position, obviously, because you are checking all the boxes. It's very analytical. You need to know all of the guidelines for the files. Like I mentioned there on the slide, effectively utilize lending guidelines to assess loan risk and eligibility, and analyze and evaluate income, financial standing, and credit rating of NewDay USA's potential customers. If you're book smart, if you're analytical, if you like putting puzzles together, I definitely recommend this position for you. Now, what to expect at NewDay USA? We are consistently rated one of the top workplaces by the Baltimore Sun. Great pay, great benefits. There's a $60,000 annual base pay and opportunity for commission and bonuses, as well as paid time off. Now, starting out, you're likely to make a bit more commission as an account executive rather than someone in the AUP program. But I would say that the AUP program, once you become an underwriter, that's a six-figure income. So while you might not make as much in commission as an account executive starting out, it's definitely going to pay off in the end once you become an underwriter. I would say for account executives, mid-level, starting out in your first year, mid-level account executives are making between 70 and 80,000. High performing account executives are making over 100,000. And then for the AUP program, I'd say in your first year, you probably make somewhere between 60 and 70,000. The training and licensing is completely paid for, costs covered. You'll get training and advice from world-class coaches and trainers. Our educators for our training program, Sean Reynolds and Lindsay Captain, they are outstanding. They provide a lot of individualized training, a lot of hands-on kind of work. They're great educators. They've also brought in some really great people to talk about different customer service strategies, learning more about the military and our veterans. We have on our board, we have what we call the NewDay 5. They're 5 retired high-level officers, one representing each branch of the military, minus the Space Force. But they have come in a lot to basically explain more about our veterans and the military and how to relate to them and how to better serve them. We've also had John DeJulius from the DeJulius Group come in. He runs a customer service consulting firm that's world-renowned. We actually had John Harbaugh, head coach of the Baltimore Ravens, come in, give us a leadership leadership, coaching. And that was just, that all was just while I was training in my first month of training. So we have some really great people come in. Team environment is really great. It's very upbeat. You'll form some great connections personally and professionally. Like I mentioned earlier, opportunity for professional advancement. I think I mentioned we hire from within, so great opportunities for promotions. I just want to talk a little bit about my experience going from Catholic to NewDay. Like Brett mentioned, I actually got a music degree. I got a bachelor's in music in musical theater. So I was one of those annoying theater kids at Ward Hall. Kind of had an untraditional route. I got out of college in 2019 and I was looking for work in music, arts, or theater administration. And on the side, I was working 2 jobs as I was serving tables at 2 different restaurants. And then COVID hit. Obviously, the arts industry got destroyed. So I kind of gave up on looking for an arts administration position because who's hiring for anything? And I also got laid off from both of my serving jobs. So I was completely unemployed, didn't know what to do. I was kind of looking at everything on LinkedIn, applying to whatever I could. Then NewDay reached out to me. They saw that I was looking for work, gave me a chance. They saw I had customer service experience and went through a couple interviews and I got hired as an account executive. So in that kind of sales position. I went through SAFE, the training period. I passed the exam to get my license and I started as an account executive. I did that for a couple months and then started to realize that it wasn't the right position for me. Now I had customer service experience in the past, but it was a very different kind of customer service, one that I wasn't really prepared for or felt that I could perform well. Just me personally, I'm not very much of a people person. I'm very introverted. So it wasn't a great position for me. I was doing well, I just wasn't enjoying it. So I went to my boss. I said, hey, this is kind of where I'm coming from. Is there anything I can do about this? Because I don't see myself lasting long in this position. And he was really understanding. He talked to his boss, got me an interview with the head of operations, and I interviewed for the accelerated underwriting program. And they decided that I would be able to switch into that position instead of account executive. And I think that really speaks to NewDay as a company. Obviously, it's really scary to go to your boss and say, hey, I need to switch positions. Like, can I do this? But I think the way they were really understanding and helped me to find my strengths really speaks to them as a company for how well they take care of their employees. So that's just my personal experience from NewDay. I do definitely recommend. It's a great opportunity just coming out of college. It's great starting out your career here. It's a great company, great pay, especially for an entry-level position. I think it's a really great compensation program. So I definitely recommend at least interviewing. In order to do that, don't interview on the company website. Send your resume directly to me. Just because if you send your resume to me, I can write up a profile for you to refer to our recruiting and hiring team. And they will, they'll see that it's a recommendation coming from a NewDay employee, and they'll be a lot more likely to get you a second interview. You'll definitely get a phone call if you send me your resume. If you apply online, they won't see that recommendation from current NewDay employees, so you might not be able to get that first phone call. So email me your resume, include which position you are interested in, either account executive or accelerated underwriting program. Note any military connections you might have. That's not required. Our hiring team just likes to know, just because we work so closely with veterans. And then I'll write up your profile for our hiring department to review. And cover letter is optional. Obviously, it'll help you stand out if there's specific knowledge or experience you have that would be applicable to the mortgage industry, or to if you have any like leadership experience or like teamwork experience, like sports, anything like that. That definitely helps. So send all of that to me, and then I'll write up your profile, send it over to hiring. They then expect a call from them just to get to know you better, and then potentially set up a second interview with them. And then obviously feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions for interview tips or advice. Obviously, I've gone through the interview for both account executive and accelerated underwriting program. So I've been through it both. Definitely want to help you out in any way that I can. If you need to know, if you just need any tips or advice or encouragement, I am definitely here for you. So that's pretty much all I had. Definitely wanted to open up to questions. And let me throw this up here. Hang on. There we go. I'll leave that up there.
Thanks so much for that, Benjamin. So students, this is your time now. So feel free to come off of mute and ask a question, or if you want to ask anonymously, you can send me a private message or you can type it in the chat and we'll make sure we get to it.